Art, art, radio today. Art, radio today. Art, radio today. Today.
Let me try. Art radio today, art radio today, art radio today, art radio today.
Wow. This is like Scott Bradley riffing on classics, doing different versions of pop standards. That's great, you guys.
Are we a classic yet ourselves?
Well, I think we are. Hey, but before we get out of a singing mode, I think we have a special occasion to celebrate today.
Indeed.
And that's the birthday of our dear friend Tom Galvin. So are we ready?
Yes.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Tom. Happy birthday
to you. And many more. Spanking will continue until morale improves. So
thank you so much. That was the most interesting happy birthday I've ever heard.
I am sure. Hey, did you get some cake?
Gay's even now making brownies.
All right.
That was my preference today. So yeah. Yeah, that song was not just 4-part harmony. It was like I don't know what to say. It was
from the heart. I don't know anything about that stuff, but it's it's the best I got. So
it was jazzy. I think there was some kind of a new agey kind of aspect to it. But yeah. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Gay says I should not tell anybody my age, but I tend to be proud of still being here. So I turned 74 today.
You're here.
And I have the body though of a 74-year-old. And so yeah,
hey,
it's a new 73.
Yeah.
6 years, you're octogenarian.
I know. It's crazy. I don't know. How'd I get
a heck of a title?
Can I tell you about weird news today? Jumping from my my fear of mortality, jumping from that into another subject. I didn't actually organize a weird news for the first time since we've been doing the show. I did not do it. I pulled up instead a song that I wrote for the Applause Home for the Holidays 2 years ago. And I thought, well, this is our last show before the holidays. So I thought a Christmas song would be appropriate. And so that's what I'm going to sing. It's related to the arts in a sense, but let me get a pick. Here we go. I'd like to finger pick it, but I got a cut on my thumb. I don't want to go into that. I mean, I'll talk that over with my therapist. I'll just go into the song. So this is called Happy Hallmark Christmas. It's a happy Hallmark Christmas with movies every night. Mom and Granny, Sue and Annie share an appetite for Hallmark Christmas movies, and boy are they in luck, 'cause they can binge and never cringe even though the movies suck. Can you hear this?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She lives in the city, she's a Scrooge for half the plot. He lives in the country and runs the auto shop. She'll be driving through his town and her car will break down. Would you believe he'll be the only mechanic around? Sure, they'll hate each other, that's how it always starts, until some scruffy bum who's secretly Santa melts their hearts. But back in the big city, her old boyfriend, who's a jerk, is also her boss, and he demands that she get back to work. He swears he'll come to fetch her if she doesn't come back fast. Right then we all know the new boyfriend will kick his ass. But by the end even the old boyfriend's no longer mean. And though it's Arizona, it'll snow in the last scene. It's a happy Hallmark Christmas for all the family. You can turn your brain off and tune into your TV. Hallmark Christmas movies where everything turns out fine. And tomorrow night there'll be 3 more with the very same storyline.
You nailed it. You nailed it. Anybody watched any Hallmark movies yet this year about Christmas?
No.
I have.
You have not?
No, actually, I have. I got to tell you, new low. I'm thinking a new low here.
Rob Lowe?
I don't know. It's just I
Rob
don't.
Lowe does it.
I don't care about these young, beautiful, vacuous people finding love. And I think Christmas is a little bit more than Hallmark gives us, but I could be wrong.
I bet the actors must love it, though. It's got to be a great gig, you know. I don't know if it. I assume
It's
it
like
pays at least
being
you.
in a romance novel. I mean,
Just
you go to the thrift store to buy in the book section, and there's like 7 shelves donated to devoted to those romance novels, and that's what they are. It's the same story over and over.
Yeah. I'm a little bit of a bah humbug guy about Hallmark, but on the other hand, I get the escapism and that we all need some of that stuff.
You know what? And I thought this is a strange association, but when you were singing your song, Tom, which I love, really kind of nails it, that sort of formulaic plot line. And for some reason, I thought of, do you remember that old, was it David Allan Coe that wrote the perfect country Western song?
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Your mom got run over by, God, I forget the lyrics, but all of those cliches from country Western songs, like the cliches in the Hallmark films. And I'm thinking, well, that was the country Western song version, and here's the movie version at Hallmark.
I was in a band that sang that song. I'm guessing Frank might have been too, and I can't remember. You got to have a pickup truck. You got to cry in your beer, and all that. It's a perfect country song. But I think anybody that's ever been in a country rock band probably has run into that song and sung it a few times. And
I thought of that in ages.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. How fun!
So that's, I guess, kind of a shortened form of weird news this week.
I'm trying to think if there was anything else weird in the art world. Otherwise, just tons of virtual stuff going on out there, and we've been doing virtual field trips with high schools. By that I mean we were supposed to be taking students to the Crocker and the DeYoung in San Francisco, and of course that all went away. We did one big trip in January to LA to the Getty museums with Yuba City High School students, and we thought about it, all summer and said, "Gee, what can we do?" Well, the first program we put together was with the Crocker, and they've got a wonderful team. Mallory, who's a docent there, put together a program. So we've gone through, 6 or 8 classes for Yuba City High School, where the docent Mallory zooms into the classroom session, and like the one that was on Friday that Shantae and I sat in on was about ceramics, and that was for Kara Bradlin, the teacher there at Yuba City High School, who teaches ceramics. So they were studying certain aspects of the Crocker ceramics collection, which is pretty significant. And there was a little bit background about the Crocker Museum itself. So it was, an hour program that was pretty cool. The students loved it. The teachers loved it. We're going to do it with Marysville High School, Lyndhurst High School after the first of the year. So it's been a great program. We've just got to do what we got to do. It's virtual or nothing.
Mm-hmm. And nothing would be bad for this community. We need this stuff, and we need to see our local fellow citizens and the kids in our community, and we need to see them online. Parents want to see their kids involved in the arts and theater, and so the virtual is the way we've got. It's the thing we've got, and otherwise, there would be no Christmas show. There would be no way to go see 6-year-old Judy singing her first song on the stage, and all that stuff. We'd love it to still be going on, but this is what we have. And you and David, you and Abby have just kept things going. You're coming up with something all the time to keep the virtual arts alive here, and I just think that's great.
And there is a lot going on. We'll talk in a minute about the acting company and some other programs that are upcoming. So we're all trying to, pull it together, and like you said, do what we can for students and the adults, and it's I think particularly important now, where there's a kind of an expectation this time of year. It's just like on Saturday and Sunday when was it all Saturday? I forget. Were they both Saturday? The Messiah, where Corey Kirstang and the Oratorio Society pulled up a pre-recorded version of the Kids' Messiah, and then a full Messiah later that day. And it's not the same as being there and doing the sing-along of the Hallelujah chorus, but doggone it, it's what we've got, and good for them to make it available to the community this time of year. It's part of our culture, part of our traditions.
Yeah, I think. Go ahead, Joe.
Well, the biggest thing is like listening to Dr. Lou and stuff. This is probably like fourth and goal for us here. It's like we gotta pay attention and hunker down, because otherwise it's going to get much worse. So yeah, we're doing what we can, and we're also trying to follow what we must. So it's very difficult.
Yeah. We just hope that people will cooperate with what Joe just said. It's fourth and it's we're at the goal line here. Are we gonna make it, or are we just gonna turn over the ball? I don't know. Not to strain a sports metaphor too much, but
it's Sunday. What can I say?
It's more serious than some people in town know, and I hope that people understand the compassion for other people that wearing a mask represents. It's not being oppressed. It's not your liberty taken away. It's compassion for your fellow human being, and a reality out there that you're trying to fight against.
For yourself. I mean, if you want to be selfish, a great way to do it is wear a mask.
Yeah. So enough speechifying. The messages. YubaSutterArts has been very active throughout this whole thing.
Yes.
And, so
for the kids as well. Yeah.
And that's why we're here. That's why we're here.
Part of it, and we've kept this thing going, in our virtual realm, and thanks for doing all that you do. Should we bring Frank on? And
I think it'd be a great time. Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah. And let's welcome our dear friend, musician and songwriter, Mr. Frank Sorgea.
Howdy.
Hey, there he is.
Hi, Frank.
AKA the real Santa Claus. But can I just may I do just a quick introduction about how I first met Frank? It was a number of years ago.
I wish you wouldn't, David.
No, all right, yeah.
No, please.
Just not approvingly, okay. And
I'm sorry.
I've been rehearsing this all week, so work with me here. But I went to I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, I went to a Rotary event. It was a exchange student kind of program where we got to meet a group of exchange students that had come to the community. I think it was at the Jacoby's home. And they've got this fabulous Mexican buffet spread set up, catered by one of the restaurants. I'm sorry, I don't remember which one. And over in the corner, there's this group of guys playing some music, and there's a sign out front that says the OCD band. I'm like, okay, this sounds interesting. Anyway, it was a great event, and they played wonderfully. And since then, I've gotten to know Frank and the rest of the musicians a little bit, and they've played at a number of fundraisers for us. So it's just a real pleasure to see you, Frank. Thanks for coming on.
First time I heard the term OCD band, I remember I had never seen you guys, but I don't know what. Well, the OCD band's playing. I said, well, do they play music or do they just clean their instruments?
Do either of you guys have a sticker from the band?
No,
I don't.
I've got one on my guitar case. Do you still have those stickers?
Yeah, I have a few of them. I have some old hats.
You have to get them to those guys. The stickers are great. It's hilarious.
Doug has some little mini kazoos, which were kind of fun. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. We played for 7 years, and hopefully we'll get back together.
The pieces are still around, Doug and Bill and stuff. So
yeah. Doug broke his leg here a couple months ago. Has been having some problems with it, but he's on the mend. Yeah, that was a really wonderful experience. I got to do so many things that I probably wouldn't have done otherwise. Going places and doing things that it was just great fun. Putting on a show and playing a little bit.
And you guys were so generous with your time, and weren't all the concerts related to some kind of fundraising for various organizations?
Well, we got a lot of money. I was really surprised how much we made, and we banked it, and we're giving it away. And which is really what a wonderful thing.
Yeah, that's great.
Wow.
Yeah, incredible. We were always surprised when people paid us. we play for beer and pizzas, you know, cookies, you know, whatever we can get, you know, hamburger.
Once we're talking about the band and not your illustrious, prior life, how did that all start? What was the inspiration? Hey, let's put a band together and do good deeds, or what?
It was funny. It was at Rotary. I was at Marysville Rotary, and I'm not really. I was talking to Doug Marr and mentioned that I was a musician. I played guitar, and he says, "Well, I play the banjo." And I said, "Well, let's get together." And Doug and I went down, and we went down to Gap, the Gaucher Park, and we sat there on the benches and played a couple tunes together. I said, "Well, this is kind of fun." And then Bill Toombs, he's a Rotarian, Yuba City Rotary. Yeah. He said, "Hey, I play fiddle." And then Dave, he said, "Well, look, I play bass." So we're all Rotarians.
Wow.
All got together, and that's really how it all started, was with Rotary, and which added to the fun of it, really, because it really made it absolutely, we were doing it for fun and for charity, and, it was just nothing but a good time.
Well, what's the back? I mean, I know what OCD is because I'm a shrink, but what's the, what can you tell us? Does that stand for something besides
well,
mental health disorder?
I've heard a lot of definitions.
Yeah.
Old cranky dudes, old curmudgeons doing it. Now, it usually starts with old, and then
I guess that's a given.
Yeah, you guys are somewhere. A lot of gray that way.
Yeah. I miss playing. The festivals were always a great fun, and just watching people. The ones that I enjoyed the most is where we would get kids up on the stage, playing the maracas and the claves and the tambourines with us. If we could get that going, that was a good show. More so even really than the ones where we had a good crowd with people that appreciated us. I was just playing with those kids. And we love Bishop's Pumpkin Farm because that was always a good spot for us.
Oh yeah.
We always have kids on stage there.
You'll be back.
Well, I don't know. We'll see.
I hope so, but I think it'll all come back around again. I don't know when, but I keep saying the best minds in the world are working on this cure. So, something's going to turn around for us. But at any rate, what do you want to do with the music when the world turns back on? Do you want to get it back together? Are you anxious to do that? Or
I've always thought of myself really as I'm not a great musician. I mean, I'm a hummer and a strummer, and but I'm a songwriter, and I've been in the funk. This last year has been terrible. For a lot of reasons. I've been too focused on politics, and my head has been in an awful place. And I'm coming out of it. And I'm looking forward to next year, and maybe write some more tunes, some positive, uplifting stuff, and stuff with some meaning and some heart. And I can't put it down. I mean, it's an addiction. Once you start.
Yeah,
it's therapy for me. It's for me, the writing and stuff is how I get out this stuff where my head's in a bad place. I can get it out by writing it into a song.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I was thinking when David said, "Well, when I met Frank," my first recollection of you was when I think I was playing a Jon Stewart song.
Oh,
and you said, "Oh, that's a Jon Stewart song."
Yeah.
Oh my God, somebody knows Jon Stewart.
I met Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart told me I had the best bar band he'd ever seen in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Yeah. This is a long story, and I won't go into it. Jon Stewart was a cool guy. I happened to meet him. I got a drummer for his band when he was playing a club in Jackson Hole, and I kind of had a lot of musical friends around there. I got a call. We don't have a drum set. We were supposed to. I got him a drum set, and so I couldn't go to the gig because our band was playing in town, and Jon Stewart showed up with his band, and we sat in and we were smoking that night. We had a 6-piece band with 2 women and we were smoking, and Jon Stewart was there, and I know I'm probably the audience, our audience of 10s, probably may not know who he is. But I followed him since the Kingston Trio. And,
is that where you started? I was one of those Kingston Trio.
Kingston Trio. Before that, he was in another trio with John Phillips from the Mamas and Papas, and they wrote songs together, some pretty popular songs together. And amazing talent. Died about 6-7 years ago, I think.
7 years ago, yeah. I saw him in a show up in Grass Valley a couple of years before he died, and he was struggling,
The voice was going, yeah,
and he was having a little hard time with the words, but he had a good group, and they were helping him out, and the audience knew the words. So that's what ended up happening. You know, he'd start singing, Julie, Judy, Angel Rain. Road again. And of course, that was Julie, Judy, Angel Rain. Like, how can you not? You know?
Yeah. Just a great song.
July, You're a Woman, one of my all-time favorites.
Oh, yeah, July, yeah.
And then he had his big hit. He had his big rock hit with Gold. Remember, he emerged as a rock hit.
One of his lesser songs, I thought. It was really such a camp song.
Yeah, it was. Well, it was produced by Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks, who were big Kingston Trio fans.
Yeah.
And so they helped helped him emerge to, top shelf for a while there. But then he went back to what he does, which is American roots stuff, and he does it so well, or he did it so well. Yeah, he was a treasure.
I'll be darned.
I'm going to suggest that we put together a Jon Stewart Memorial Night.
Oh,
hey, we did the Bob Dylan show.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
When you are virtual or real, if you want to wait for the theater to reopen, you know.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. Yeah,
I'm hoping there's a future.
Yeah,
there is.
Well, we should talk about that. Or because there's Jon Stewart, there's some lesser known songwriters. We know, musicians know them, but to have an evening of like pick 4 great songwriters. Joe, you just learned Muskrat Love by Willis Allen Ramsey, who I happened to see in a club in Boulder. Just walked into this club and saw this amazing soloist at the end of this bar that was just like a long tunnel, 3 seats, 3 chairs on each side with a row, and then this guy at the end with an acoustic guitar. And we just find there are like 3 or 4 of these people that wrote these gems, that they had a big hit, but they had like 5 other songs that were just as good but never became hits. So Frank, you and Joe and I'll talk. Let's put something together here.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. When I say these things, I tend to do them. So I'll be in touch with you. I'll be sending you guys some ideas via email or something.
We'll have to put in bids for who plays Julie, Judy, Angel Rain.
I'm not precious. If you think you got it covered, you cover it. But yeah, let's.
Well, it's exciting. I'm excited. Well, that's great. We can wrap it up right now. Hey guys, it's been great. That tribute concert.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
That question you were going to ask Frank about what's the next project, you're going to take it off your to-do list.
We covered that. I keep a script for these shows to keep track. But so talk. I mean, how long you been a musician? I mean, is this a lifetime thing, or did you pick it up late?
I thank you for asking. This is a nice one. I started in elementary school.
You did?
I was in I think 6th grade. I was a pain in the butt. I was the kid who was always in trouble. ADHD is all get out, I spent more time in the principal's office getting my ass bruised than most kids. Well, I had been particularly bad one day, and Mr. Jones, the principal, whopped my butt real good. And then he used to hit you with that paddle. They whack you. Mm-hmm. Well, I got whacked. He hit me hard.
Your pain, literally.
And I went. My next class was actually my first class to meet Joe Matthews to play. I was going to learn how to play the trumpet. So I go in the classroom and I couldn't sit down because my butt hurt so much. And Joe said, "What's the problem?" And I said, "No." And the kids told him he got his ass whooped by the principal. He was mouthing off during the fire drill. I guess so. So he said, "Well, does that happen a lot?" And I said, "Well, yeah, quite a bit." So Joe told me at that time, Joe Matthews, he told me, "Frank, you're different. You're not like everybody else. You're going to be different your whole life. You may as well get used to it. There are going to be people that think you're the best thing going, and people think you're nuts. So learn how to play an instrument, and you'll always have something." Well, I never stopped. I picked up the trumpet, and I played from the 6th grade through college.
Wow.
And played in a little marimba band, a little dissy thing, making a few bucks. Yeah. And I played until somebody stole my trumpet. The Oldsman Des trumpet, and I played up in. I was playing in where the hell was it? Place north of Chico, some little Podunkus Grange. And during break, I had an Oldsman Des trumpet sitting on the stand, and when I came back from break, it was gone.
Oh,
I know, it broke my heart.
I bet.
But then from there, I've been playing. I played guitar forever. Everybody played. I played guitar in high school and then never put it down. And I learned in a Bob Dylan songbook. The little squares with the finger notations and the chords. Yep. And stuff. I know all the chords. And I just for several years I didn't play at all, and here about 15 years ago, 18 years ago, I got divorced. I was in a bad marriage and codependent thing where I was putting up with a lot of nonsense. I was sacrificing myself to this rage woman. Well, she left, and I'm walking in my house where she.
Did you say she left? I'm sorry, Frank. You said she left.
She got pissed off and said, "I'm out of here," and she left. That was after 22 years. And I'm walking around my house and I'm thinking, holy shit, I'm grinning like a cat eating shit. I feel bad. And I don't. I feel really happy. And I picked up a guitar and started playing some tunes, and I haven't put it down since.
Wow.
I don't know. I remember you. I think I was playing old Washburn, and hadn't played it in years. I bought it with my first student loan from Chico. I got $750 on a student loan.
Wow.
And I spent $600 of it on a guitar.
It was the old academic commitment right there.
Yeah.
What was your first song? What was the first one you played?
Huh?
What was the first song you played?
Freedom.
Wow.
Freedom.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Richie Havens' Freedom?
Yeah.
Well, didn't all you have to play was a D?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It was one chord.
Hey, wait a minute.
It was rhythm. It was the rhythm.
Freedom. Yeah, it was pretty much it was a D.
Yeah, it was a D. Yeah.
So when did you break into a song with two chords?
Well, you could take the D and you could slide it up a little bit, play the E up on the stuff.
Wow.
Like you're showing off,
Wow, I saw him live a couple of times. Athens, Georgia, and the Birchmere up in Washington, D.C.
He was great.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Wow.
We were fortunate, we lived in an era we could see good shows, and
we could see shows at places where they'd have a rhythm and blues band and a heavy metal band and maybe I don't know. There wasn't the separation of musical genres. It was, if you play good music, you might go to the Fillmore and there'd be three other bands that might play entirely different kind of music. And I miss that in pop music.
I saw in Sacramento at the Governor's Hall, it was Steppenwolf, which was a local band at the time. The top bill was the Trogs.
Oh.
No, it was crazy. But what was it? Who did Time?
Oh, the brothers, the Chambers
Brothers, yeah.
The Chambers Brothers come out as the middle group, And they knocked the place silly. I mean, it was nuts. People were going apeshit. And then, so they go off the stage and everybody's, hey, we pull them back. They leave. The Trogs come out in polished cotton, I feel it in my fingers. They were booed out. They played two songs. They were booed off the stage. The Chambers Brothers came back out and played for 2 more hours. And then as everybody was leaving, they shook hands with everybody as you're going out the door.
Wow.
And Joe Cocker showed up that night. Some crazy fucker was twitching around on the stage and nobody had any idea what was going on.
Oh my God! Well, back in the early days, yeah. Oh,
yeah, that was something.
So,
how fun! How fun!
Yeah.
Did Chambers Brothers play "People Get Ready"?
I don't remember. I don't remember time. I remember the bop.
Yeah. I got the vinyl. That's one of my favorite tracks on that one. But yeah. Anyway, couple.
Frank, you're not only a musician. You and I have some things in common. We're both social workers.
Yeah.
And we both taught at the college level. And is there any of that stuff you're still pursuing? Are you all just retired from all that? Is that all done for you?
This is kind of funny. I was going to retire from the college. I've been there. It was 32 years I've been out there.
Really? I had no idea. Yeah.
I know, it's kind of crazy. Teaching drug dependency courses the whole time. And so I go to retire, and they said, well, you can't retire. And I said, well, yeah, I'm 70. I want to retire. No, you can retire, but it takes 6 months to retire. You can put in thing, and then you get 6 months, you're retired. I said, well, okay. Because, Cal teachers, security fund thing or whatever, STRS. And so then they send me a thing for unemployment. They said, well, technically you're unemployed. And I said, well, no, I'm just waiting to retire. And they said, well, are you working? No. Are you making any money? No. Well, you're unemployed. Unemployment.
Wow. They paid you for doing nothing until you actually retired?
Yeah. So I thought that's ridiculous. So I call and I actually got through after about 4 tries. I finally get somebody to unemployment. And that was the questions they asked. Are you working? No. Are you making any money? No. Did you used to work? Yes. Did you make money? Yes. You're unemployed. Okay.
I think that's a lesson for us all.
I like it.
But I would go back. I loved teaching. I just loved it, and it was a really remarkable experience. Just all the years going through that, and particularly what I was dealing with addicts, and people in recovery. I usually started my classes off by saying, "Look, I'm a lighthearted guy. I like to have a good time, but we got to remember what we're doing. If we screw this up, people die. If we do this well, people move on to decent, respectable lives. So what we're doing is critical, and you can do it a lot of different ways. There's a lot of approaches, but you have to always remember that this is not just, trivial. My God, this is big stuff. You work it right, people move on to prosperity and health and wellness and happiness. And if you screw it up, they end up dead. And,
Yeah.
I had plenty of them during my years that didn't make it. And, it's touching. So, I enjoyed that opportunity to hear the students and the evolution of attitudes over time. Teaching changed too. Now, I used to teach when there was no internet. I was teaching psychopharmacology where you had to read it in a book. You couldn't just scam it on Google. Give me what's psychotropic drugs. Give me now. I mean, it's entirely different. So the evolution was important to do, and then we ended up actually right at the end with the COVID thing. It was the college is shut down, and I have no interest in doing online stuff.
It's tough. It's really tough. We talked to a lot of teachers and at all levels, and it's just really tough. So.
I like being with the students more than I like teaching. As a kid, and I always thought I was learning something. I remember one of my last classes, a social welfare class. There was a young lady in there, the black lady, a large gal, and she had a hoodie on. She was wearing this hoodie, and she was homeless. And this was a social work class, and here's when you're dealing with homelessness. And I said, well, talk to me. I don't get it, but you can help me. What is the significance of the hoodie? Why is it all the homeless people I see, is she wearing a hoodie and the hood's up? And she said, look, Frank, here it is. This is my world. I don't want to deal with that out there, And this woman, she went on for a half hour telling me this incredible story of the significance of her hoodie. And I thought, and this is a woman who's living on the street in a tent.
Yeah.
And she's brilliant.
Yeah.
She's brilliant. How did this happen? It's just unimaginable, And then there's the ones who came in, we were in horrible shape in recovery from opioid addiction and saw the light and got their lives together, and, got their children back and their families together and back with their spouses. And it never ends. It just never. The needs are just infinite, and you at some point, it's good to stop. It's good to do something else. Go fishing.
And I still have a practice, but it's a far smaller practice than I used to have, because I just think that at some point in life, you're dealing with other people's problems, and if you have the tools to help them and you think you can function in a positive way, then do it. But I don't think I continue to function as positively as I did 10 or 20 years ago at my age without feeling like, hey, the time's limited and I want to try some other things. I want to do some other things, and I don't want to lose touch with this. But, there's got to be, for me, music and getting connected with the Arts Council, that those other things you want time to do, explore your life, explore what's left of your life, and not just keep your nose to the grindstone and be there for other people in your profession. Sometimes like want a little time for me right now.
You know, what I found in retrospect to the whole thing is during all those years, I thought I was working, but really I was sowing seeds.
Yeah.
And some of those hit. Some of them did really well. And some of them just drifted off. I look back, I think Camp Singer, the ability when I got to start Camp Singer, I built that.
Talk about that. You actually helped create that?
Like from the ground up, from the idea, from conception to construction.
Really? I didn't know that either, because we've taught classes there through a grant we got. Of course, Camp Singer, sometimes they'll come out and help as volunteers or volunteers for different events, and so I'm very aware of the organization, but I didn't realize you were part of the. You were the.
Yeah, it was back around 2001. We had 2001 in that area. We had some money came available in the state, and I applied for some grants. And we got some grants. Wow. And it was kind of confusing what was going to happen. They wanted to add to the juvenile hall. I said, geez, I've got 45 beds. I don't need more beds in the juvenile hall. I have no treatment beds. So we swung a deal with the state that we would empty beds out of the hard cells and put them into soft cells into the camp. And that was really the idea behind building Camp Singer. So we put Camp Singer up. There's 45 beds out there, 45 boys and 15 girls. And that program just took off. You know, from the very beginning, I went all over the state. I was actually president of the state Juvenile Hall Administrators Association at the time, and I went to every juvenile hall in the state. I wanted to see what are they doing, and they weren't doing shit. They weren't doing shit. It really irritated me. We came back, and basically I tried to run the thing like a Boy Scout troop. You know, here's what we do: duty, honor, country. Let's salute the flag in the morning, get up at 6 o'clock, do some calisthenics, let's get moving and change your life. And you know what? We did. We changed a lot of lives, and they're still doing it. And I look back, you know, so when you see those kids walking around town in those green BBUs, I think, all right, I was more.
Very smart away, very disciplined, and we've enjoyed our time, you know, working there through the Arts Council with the different programs we brought in: poetry, African drum and dance, ceramics. We've done a whole bunch of stuff. And for those listening or watching that may not know, it's Camp Singer is, help me out with this, Frank. It's part of the Juvenile Hall. And it's what, for better behaved folks, or they're inmates, right?
No, you're taking the last lonely and the wretched. They don't take the murderers, rapists, murderers, those violent crimes. They're excluded. But there's not a lot of those anyway. Right. What they're taking are kids that are recalcitrant. They get in, get out, get in, get out. And they used to bing bong out of the juvenile hall. That's just silly. So the decision was to put them out in the camp and put them there long enough that we could do some good. We're trying to undo 15, 16 years of nonsense. Yeah. And it takes a while to do that. We found it takes 6 months minimum. We like a year. So we finally got the judges to recognize that we're not punishing them, we're fixing them, and it takes a while, you know? So instead of saying, well, okay, you got 90 days and the kids are going 89, 88.
Yeah, right, exactly.
All their count is getting out. Now what they got to do is you got to get grades, you got to hit your physical standards, you got to do X number of community service hours, all the different things that you got to do. It's like a regular kid. How about that? You know? And the expectations were very high. And you know what? You look academically, what those kids did is amazing. Some of the highest academic achievement in Marysville, in the Marysville Unified, and they're in the county school district.
Was Sir Chris there, the English teacher?
Yeah. Yes.
I forget his last name. What an amazing guy he was.
Yeah. You know, Rotary has a speech contest every year.
Right, of course.
One of the things that I did when I got to run the speech contest was I invited kids from Camp Singer to participate in the contest, and that was with kids from Marysville High School, the Charter Academy, Lyndhurst High School, in the area. We had kids that were, seniors in high school, going off to Stanford, going off to, major colleges, 4-point grade student that were in the speech contest, can participate, and Camp Singer kids won that thing consistently. It was remarkable. Beautiful. I had a kid, I was in tears and laughing in a 5-minute speech. I said, "Oh my God, this kid's a master," and he owned the room. And this kid has been locked up for like 9 months. It was ridiculous. On the way out of Peachtree, there's the grand piano was sitting there, and the kid asked me, "Do you mind if I play piano?" I said, "Do you play piano?" He goes, "Well, yeah." He said, He didn't even sit down. He was standing up and playing. Just incredible, what this kid was doing. I said, and this kid's locked up. How did that ever happen? Well, he was in a place where he could start to realize who he was, and not be afraid to show it, and not be afraid to say, I'm pretty bright. I'm sharp. I have some talent, and you guys don't. So I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and really, I could, I was there for 20 years. I have a million stories. But the joy of it, I really designed the buildings on a paper plate. An architect drew the little thing out of the paper plate, those little squares. And This is what I want to see. The state told us we couldn't do it. They said, well, you'll never be able to control that facility. It's going to go crazy. I said, well. So after we built it, a year later, they're up there with their little circular camera video thing and, showing the thing to the world.
Yeah.
I got calls from Jamaica. People wanted to copy our buildings. It was from Japan. I had a group come from Japan to visit our building to see that the low walls and the open setting. I think that's not just it's from a Jon Stewart song, "A Prison Without Walls."
Yeah.
A prison without walls.
Yeah.
That's what I called it. It's a prison.
I see what you did there. That was slick. That was
We're all prisoners in a prison without walls.
Wish you had that guitar there, Frank.
Next time.
Yeah.
We'll have to get together and do some Stewart songs.
Oh.
Yeah, I would love to do that.
That'd be fun.
There was an album that one of the last albums the Kingston Trio ever did was called Children of the Morning. And it was the first time I was aware of Jon Stewart's songs. He had 7 of the 12 songs were Jon Stewart songs. And I thought, whoa, wow, I didn't, usually they would cover things. And it's like, this is, and then I'd hear he wrote Goodbye Sleepy Jean by the Monkees and some pop stuff. But man, some of these deeper songs that he wrote in there, California Bloodlines, it just, that's such a sensitive guy, such a sensitive songwriter.
Stone County Road.
Just
Come on, you gotta
wicker chair.
All right, Frank, we'll do it. We're going to take some. Here's our major domo right over here is David Reed. So we bring an idea to him, and David he'll help us make it happen.
We'll get Joe along with us.
Yeah,
he's got a good voice.
I don't know, Joe. I'm guessing you're just maybe a generation away from the Kingston Trio and Jon Stewart. Yeah. Well, you've got to.
I want some older songs because I've been recently playing for the senior centers and stuff and singing, learning songs and stuff. So that might be what I need is some Kingston Trio stuff.
Yeah, I do it. I do it at senior centers, and they either sleep or they sing along. Most of them sleep.
The
thing is, they were wide awake when I started singing, and I don't know what happens, but yeah.
We played empty rooms, So
yeah. I remember I played the Fountains. I did once a month. I played the Fountains, and I had a 45-minute show. I did, and I would do things like the Battle of New Orleans by Johnny Horton.
Hey, come on.
And then I do like rocked up versions of when Johnny Comes Marching Home. Some of that stuff I did for the Civil War show that we did, and just all these things. And it's like, it's not so much choosing really old songs; it's choosing, I don't know. They'll tap their feet. They'll tap their feet to a Beatles song. They'll tap their feet to a. I wrote some of my current songs that are kind of goofy and satirical kind of things, and. If they like you, if they think that you're there to entertain them, do your own repertoire, do your own songs. Don't try to. My thinking is, give them something they'll recognize to some extent, but just go in and do what I do and do it with a lot of love and compassion for where they're at. They're going to love you. It's.
My mother had died of Alzheimer's. It was a 7-year battle. It was horrible experience. But one of the things that came out of that is I would go in to visit her in the hospital, and I'd hear some singing down the hallway. It was my mother singing spirituals, all the Baptist. She knows all the Baptist. You got to sing, and patriotic songs.
Yeah.
So my mom's favorite song was "Were You There When They Crucified My Lord?"
Yeah, so she's singing that.
It causes me to tremble. And it was just, and she could still play the piano. She didn't know who I was, but she could play the piano.
Wow.
I mean, it's amazing. Music occupies a different part of the brain.
Yeah, I don't want to get too bookish here, but Oliver Sacks, who wrote the book Awakenings, that Robert De Niro made a movie with Robin Williams and he wrote a book called Musicophilia. And it's about, he studied people with Alzheimer's, and he has one remarkable episode where an old guy with severe Alzheimer's doesn't recognize anybody in his family. He was in a quartet in New York. They had like a kind of a four Ames Brothers or the Four Aces or one of those kinds of groups. And so for a while, before he started sliding, two of the members died, and his son and daughter-in-law would take up those parts. And but then he's totally lost. And Oliver Sacks comes to meet this guy, and the son and daughter. At some point, he doesn't relate to anything or anybody. He's totally gone until the one old guy that's still around. He just is playing the piano, and the son and daughter-in-law start singing, and the guy gets up off his chair and throws his harmony parts in every place just at the right time. He's back alive through this channel, through this lively thing we call music, brings him back to life for those moments when he's singing those harmonies. There's no loss of memory. There's no, I don't know who I am. There's, I know this line and I'm singing it and I can hear the harmony. And just the way Sacks described this was so powerful. The power of music is can't ever underestimate it.
Hear, hear. We need it. We need more. Thank you to the three of you, all musicians. So,
yep. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't start playing an instrument until I was almost 40.
Oh my gosh!
I picked up the guitar and finally learned how to tune it. That was the biggest thing. Who knew? You had to tune
that's one of those important things.
That was before the little tuner, electronic tuner.
Yeah, exactly. My little brother is a luthier. He can take the guitar and he just takes it and goes dunk, 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 dunk. And I'm like, I still have to have the tuner. I can't do it by ear. So
whatever works, right? And use the technology.
Indeed.
Oh,
so, yeah.
Well, a lot of music was played out of tune in those days too.
And it's okay.
Yeah. Well, but there were those illegal smiles and nobody noticed. So yeah,
that's right. Thank you, John.
David, what's on your list? What haven't we hit?
Gosh, I think we've covered a lot. I mean, I'm sure we could just keep chatting about life and the power of art and the power of music to heal and transform. And gosh, I don't know. Where do you want to go? We can keep going. Got a few things on the calendar to look forward to in our virtual realm between now and the end of the year. But
Frank, I know I asked you to help out with your Santa Claus persona, and you said you'd for your family you'd taken off on doing that role this year.
Well, what I've done, I'm 70. And my family made me promise that I would not do it this year because it would be stupid, just a stupid thing. And
that's good.
So I got this really cool, cute mask.
I like that.
But glasses, so it's a little bit of a disappointment.
This is reminding me of Cats.
It is heartbreaking to me. I mean, I've been over 20 years. I've done it. And, there's a couple of, I said, well, I can give or take those, but, doggone it, I miss Virginia school, all the handicapped kids, we did over 300 foster kids a couple of years ago, and doggone it, I miss those, and, it'll be back. And Covalot School, I always had great fun over there. And, but
I was your elf once, and I loved watching the kids, your interaction with them. They believed you. They totally bought it. I mean, that was stunning.
If you believe, they'll believe.
Yep, indeed.
That's right.
I made it a point. I never, ever did Santa where I didn't have the opportunity to arrive. I didn't want to just be sitting there and the kids walk in. Santa had to arrive and just get up and walk out of the room. Santa should just disappear.
Yeah.
A little bit of doing to make that work, because sometimes people don't want to cooperate with you. But found is having great elves. I had, my grandkids were my elves. I got the soccer team from Marysville High School that were my elves one year, and that was really, really touching.
And not to forget Allie, our friend Allie was in
Yep, Allie.
Yeah, Allie did a great job. What an elf.
She's still an elf.
I did one year, we did Peachtree Golf Club, and my grandkids were my elves that time. I think my granddaughter was like 16 at the time. And the kids were asking for motorcycles and helmets and, computers and stuff. And we went from there, we went and did the foster kids right after that. An hour later, we were sitting down with the foster kids. These kids were asking for socks and, wanting to see their mom. And one little girl, my granddaughter was trying to pick her up to hand her to Santa. And she was doing that. Oh no. And the foster parent told my granddaughter that she had been molested, and that was why she was in foster care. She'd been abused. And so my granddaughter did this incredible job bringing that child close in, and we were able to do a thing, have a connection,
Yeah.
And my granddaughter, tears running down her face.
Yeah. Magic moments, just incredible moments.
Just where you say, thank God, you become appreciative for what you have, and you wish that others could be so fortunate sometimes.
Frank, maybe with that, we do have to present what's going on in the news of the world. I think with the last sentiment, that might be a good exit to just say
about the world.
I don't know how we top that. That's a tough thing.
Giuliani has COVID. How about that? I'll give you that's the scoop today.
Okay, so I'll be in touch with you, Frank. We're going to put a show on.
Sounds good.
Awesome. I sound like Mickey and Judy here. Let's put the show on right in the barn here.
It'll be a really good show.
A really good show.
But yeah, we'll do something. I think that would be fun. And Jon Stewart, maybe throw in a few other, and people, kind of related people. But I'll be in touch with you. Okay.
Great. I'm easy to find.
Okay. All right.
Great to see you, Frank. Thanks.
Bye, Frank.
Thanks so much. This has been a really fun interview. Thanks.
Yes, indeed.
Thanks for joining us.
You bet.
All right. We'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Well, that was fun, huh?
What a great guest. Holy cow.
What a guy.
Art therapy and music is therapy.
Yeah.
Well, just,
music, it's an acting.
Yeah.
It's like really powerful stuff. Oh, really fun. So a little bit about what's going on.
Yes, please, David.
Around town on your computer screen, your phone near you. Let's talk about our friends at the Acting Company. I was really pleased to see this past week the new virtual show they're putting on called Keeping Up with the Clauses. And this is written and directed by our friend Cassie Fifield, who runs a youth theater program. And she's put together this new show, which you can download at theactingcompany.org/tickets. So check it out. I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun. Cassie does a great job with young actors, young performers. And help support the Acting Company. It's a couple of bucks, I think, to buy a virtual ticket to the show. But Acting Company, like so many arts organizations and artists in general, are struggling. So this will give you a little entertainment and support a great cause and support these young performers. So check it out, actingcompany.org/tickets. Hey, why don't you guys talk about your show tonight? I mean, in 2 hours, you've got a COVID satire and music program coming on. Talk about that.
I'm really excited, and I'm so happy that the journey is finally to the end, because it's Tom and I had this idea, like we were talking with Frank. Tom threw it out there. We should put something together, before COVID ends. And who knew we'd have another year to work on this if we really wanted to.
Yeah.
But it started, and then I started reaching out to artists and stuff to see if we could get them to send videos and stuff. And this was right at the beginning when everybody was doing Zoom and StreamYard, and it became mired down in minutia. just trying to get things put together. And so it kind of fell off, right, Tom? The energy.
Well,
fell off.
to some extent, but I think we should go back to the point that you were writing songs every week to create some humor around this sad event. So these were all your songs. I think that should be noticed, that these people joined in to sing one of the satires that you wrote. And so I thought, the effort was so, I mean, it was an effort to keep pumping that stuff out.
You helped get it back on track. So
it's not, the thing is, it's short. This show is pretty short. It's brief, but that doesn't really reflect how much time Joe put into writing these songs at the same time that he was going around town on his bicycle creating chalk art that was significant for each person. He'd have some little detail that would go into the chalk art. So very busy. I just admired how busy you were to create art and smiles in whatever way you could during the pandemic. So I was happy to co-host. I guess I'm the co-host. Is that?
Yes, you are. And help co-creator and co-producer.
Yeah.
And it did become shortened down, and I actually like that because I think people are getting a little burned out on full hours. A full hour.
30 minutes of solid entertainment. I got a little preview earlier today. I can't wait to see all the numbers. What I saw was really spectacular. So.
You're going to get to see the lovely ukuleles. We love the ukuleles. They're just fun. Among many other wonderful people.
I mean, it's really very, very cool. So
it is, and everybody who helped and everybody who tried to help, I'm so appreciative. There were some that they gave it their all, and then my technical abilities messed them up. So
that's all right. But
it's still though, really, it speaks to where we are in this pandemic, that this is what I spend a lot of the time on, whereas typically I'd be learning lines for a play, or I'd be directing a show, or we'd be this is applause season right now. I would be at the Arts Council every night this week rehearsing, and that we don't have that. So, and that, Tom, is why I do it, because I don't have my usual places to spend my energy. And so I had to find new ones.
Yeah. Well, so that's on at 7:00 tonight. I presume we'll be getting on about 15 minutes early, Joe. Is that you and I will join Alex about 15 minutes early, but they'll be on, and it's tune in. There's no charge.
You're gonna laugh.
There's some nice presentations. We put our hearts and souls into this, and we hope you laugh a little bit, and that you think a little bit, and that you have a good time with it. But that's at 7:00 tonight.
On here at live Sutter Arts Facebook page, also on YouTube.
Well, and then you have the companion art show, don't you, going, David?
We do. It's still kind of coming together. Tina Linville's working on it, and we'll have more details on that this week. We couldn't do the actual gallery opening reception because of the lockdown. So
right.
Yeah, so that's exciting. 7:00 tonight. The Corona. It's called the Corona Comedy Concert, Satire and Music. So check that out. Next week we've got our Applause Kids, our latest show. We just did Super Happy Awesome News. Now Applause Kids are coming back. They're doing Holiday Happiness. This is a virtual, a free virtual youth show. It's kind of cabaret style. It's like, for those of you who have been to Applause, this is like a youth version. So they'll each be doing individual pieces. They haven't been able to come together as an ensemble, so they've all been videotaped independently. So very safe, and should be a lot of fun. Once again, director Alex Mazarol is putting it all together. She's been guiding the students and just does a great job, like she did with our Super Happy Awesome News musical. One more Poetry Square before the end of the year, hosted by Diane Funston, our poet in residence. She brings in poets from all over the country. She's got quite a network, and it's an hour of original poetry, hosted again for free right here at YubaSutterArts Facebook page. God, it's all happening on Facebook. It's weird, isn't it? It's like, and YouTube. And I should mention again that all of these programs are stored, if you will, or available at YubaSutterArts Facebook and also at our YouTube channel. Just search on YubaSutterArts on YouTube, and you'll find all of these programs. Poetry Square is December 17th. I got a little bit ahead of myself. I should mention the next Tuesday, our weekly Artist Alchemy. It's our last show of the year. It'll be the YubaSutterArts&Culture team talking about a little bit about the year we've just spent reinventing ourselves and the year ahead. Some of the things we're looking forward to doing next year, again with great uncertainty, but we know we'll be doing art stuff. So. And we've got some ideas and some new things will be coming your way. So watch for that. And Joe, you mentioned applause. We are in fact doing the full-on applause program this year. Just it will again be virtual with Joe and lots of your other favorite performers. Are you in it this year, Tom? Or?
Yeah, I am. Gay and I are in it.
I thought so. I just haven't seen the cast list.
I just heard kudos from Kelly Barber to Gay for helping out, because this is applause. We're still a family, so we've all been pitching in and helping each other out to make videos, because some of us don't make videos.
Right. Kelly was over yesterday, and I separate in different room, recording different rooms. She and Gay,
right.
And I think she's even masked, but
she was.
You'll hear a very nice performance.
Yeah,
a very, very nice performance.
Yeah, I turned in mine this morning. Ed Hudson helped me put together a nice video, and
good.
I'm gonna leave it a secret so you guys could. But I'm really tickled. It turned out great. So
and thank you all so much for all the time and effort you put into that each year. And I should point out, this is a whopping $10 per person. It is one of the few things we charge for this time of year. And it is a joint fundraiser. It helps support both the Yuba Arts and Culture organization, as well as the development of the Sutter Theater, Sutter Performing Arts Association. So we collaborate on this, and it's a great mutual effort, and we're just so excited. So help us out. We don't ask, we don't come begging very often. We have just recently put out our year-end appeal. Some of you may have gotten it in the mail. We've done it also in our December newsletter. You can always go to our Facebook, or not our Facebook, but our website, YubaSutterArts.org, and hit that donate button if you're able to join or contribute in any way, or at least buy a couple tickets for applause. That helps a lot. One last, if I may, and then I'll turn it back over. And something else. It's kind of our little holiday gift to the community. On Christmas Eve, December 24th, we'll be streaming again live on Facebook twice on the 24th. It's our version of 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. This will be 14 community leaders, each reading 4 lines from 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. It'll all be, talk about technical stuff, it'll all be stitched together seamlessly. So each person, each participant will read their 4 lines. We'll have a big grand finale at the end, a few little special effects. But a very unique idea that Abby Cecina came up with, and we've been in the process of doing these video shoots. I'm telling you, it's a lot of work. So, but it's going to be really cool. So
excellent! What fun!
On Christmas Eve, and then it'll be available on Facebook thereafter for viewing at your own convenience. So
awesome!
Yeah, that's it for the year. Back to you.
So, when are we done? We're done. No, what I'm saying is, when are we coming back? We coming back next year for more art? All about art.
Absolutely. Yeah. So what are we calling it now? We've got
all about art.
Yeah, I think we're all about art now.
We're at the top of the list in the phone book.
I know, right? All about. Yeah, right.
Well, yeah. So I'll be back to Weird News again next year, and you guys will all be back next year.
I'll just be weird.
We want to thank Frank again. I believe that's time to give him a nod and say how much fun we had talking to him, and
absolutely
really appreciate his being present today. Indeed. I love working with you guys.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
All right.
See you next year.
Appreciate
next year.
See ya.